Hi, I'm Dragon Highland, and I'm transgender as fuck.
I'm Vuyo and I identify as agender.
I'm Trevor Meyer and I use the labels non-binary and gay.
Go! Well, you must walk into the shots.
Oh!
I identify as a androgynous dude, gender non-conforming, but still very masculine.
I'm actually okay with any pronouns. I feel like I am doing what I need to do to feel comfortable, and so whatever pronouns you use or you think of me as, I'm fine with you using.
Since lockdown has happened, which this is now May 2020, I guess, I've also started using he, him with the they, them pronouns just because it felt like something to try.
I like to embody feminine attributes because I think the gender spectrum is beautiful and I'd like all different parts of it to run through me. But like the girl parts do make me uncomfortable, which is naturally obviously why I decided to get a sex change.
What does it really matter if what I'm wearing matches what I'm feeling? None of it matters.
I feel like everyone else's bodies was handed to them on a silver platter, and then, you know, we kind of dumpster diving for comfort. It definitely ruined my life until I got on hormones.
I guess I was always called a tomboy as I was growing up because I liked to wear shorts. I wasn't a big fan of dresses and stuff. I didn't relate in the way other girls felt about certain things, but I never really thought that it would make me a completely different gender.
I remember grappling with my gender identity from like a very young age. I feel like I kind of always wanted to express more feminine sides. I feel like there was always kind of that question at the back of my head.
There are so many like genderqueer kids out there at the moment. We're a very queer generation.
I feel like my parents' generation is more everything has to have an answer and a reason and everyone has to be able to understand that or it can't be that way. But I feel like my generation is definitely more okay with not knowing and more willing to learn.
My parents' generation, I think, view it as something that we will phase out of, whereas my generation understands that this is a permanent journey of change.
The hard part about being so young and being transgender is that there's not much support out there medically wise, and a lot of people will be like, oh, wait till you're 18 to make that decision, whereas like the longer you wait, the more damage that is going to be done to your body, you know?
I just think it's going to be something interesting to deal with in 10 years when our parents' generation see that Gen Z isn't going through a phase. This is something that's, you know, a part of us now, and it's the most authentic us.
My dad was very supportive of what I was doing, but my mom wasn't the happiest. She didn't really understand what I was doing, and so she said she couldn't really get behind everything I had been doing. That's really cute.
See, that's perfect.
That's cute.
Okay.
I've always had my sister, though. She has supported me every single step of the way.
I told my dad that I wanted to be transgender and go on hormone blockers and testosterone and get top surgery at 13. And he was in the midst of his own worlds, and then suddenly his 13-year-old turns around and said he wanted a sex change. So I understand he was very, very shocked.
With my family and my gender identity, it hasn't really been a big topic of conversation. I initially told them that, you know, I was agender and this was why I identified as it. After that initial conversation, it just isn't really a conversation topic. It just sort of shows more in actions, you know?
I still wasn't even really allowed to openly talk about it with a lot of my family because of their perception and like their personal beliefs. But slowly I've been able to break all of those barriers down, and I kind of just am Trevor now.
It was rough coming out to my friends at first. There were some jokes that made me feel a bit insecure, but since then my friends have been amazing in my journey and helped me also like be liberated from having to choose certain sides.
I was often singled out, and Everyone always knew about me, but I wouldn't say that I was popular because like they didn't really like me.
I actually dropped out of high school just after getting my grade 9 because I couldn't take it. It was just too much. In the span of 2 to 3 years, I'd been kicked out of my primary family home that I'd lived with to my other parent, and then when that deteriorated, went to live by myself for a few months, and then I was in and out of psychiatric units. I lived at a homeless shelter for 4 months, and then before moving into where I've been moving now, and that's really the thing that tipped it. I've moved into this queer safe haven where I feel like I've got like a support network and like friends that love me and care about me.
There's always the first time that you have to come out in a particular situation, or you have to come out to a particular person that makes it scary, because I don't know if coming out is going to potentially ruin this friendship that I've formed.
I'm hopeful to see the world become a more accepting place, and I'm hopeful that the conversations that we're having right now will lead to more acceptance and representation of all queer people and show everyone that it's okay to be who you are.
I'm hopeful that healthcare is a lot easier to access for especially under 18 trans kids. That's what I'm hopeful for. Just to please make it easier for trans kids, and maybe we'd stop being so unstable.
I'm hopeful that I'll become less afraid as, I go down this journey, or rather that I'll find new things to be afraid of and I'll stop being afraid of the old things.
I expect to face more backlash similar to what I've already faced, but it hasn't stopped me from expressing myself and continuing to push other people to accept everyone. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and hope to yell louder than the people that are yelling at me.